What did people do when it was time to sleep? If you think they climbed into a soft bed, pulled up the covers, and turned off the light, think again. For most of human history, sleep was nothing like it is today. No private bedrooms, no memory foam mattresses, and for many, not even a bed at all. Welcome to the curious past. Today, we're diving into the strange, crowded, and sometimes shocking world of how people slept before modern comfort. Let's start in medieval Europe. Here, most people didn't have beds. They slept on straw mats on the floor, often in the same room where they cooked, ate, and lived. Entire families, parents, children, grandparents, shared one space, and sometimes even animals slept inside for warmth. And here's something most people don't know. Many slept sitting up. Why? Because mattresses were a luxury. Even a simple wooden bed frame was expensive. For peasants, a pile of straw or hay was the norm, and it was often damp, full of bugs, and replaced only a few times a year. But the real shocker: shared beds with strangers. In inns and taverns, travelers were expected to share a bed, sometimes with someone they'd never met. And yes, they often slept naked. Not for any scandalous reason, but because clothes were expensive and needed to stay clean. So at night, they'd strip, climb into the shared bed, and cover up. As long as you were the same gender, it was considered normal. Even royalty didn't always have privacy. In Tudor England, servants slept on the floor of the king's bedroom, just in case he needed something in the middle of the night. Now, let's go further back, to ancient Rome. The Romans didn't have beds like we do. They used couches, but mostly for eating during banquets. At night, they might roll out a thin mattress on the floor, or sleep on a simple wooden frame stuffed with wool or hay. And privacy: almost non-existent. The Domos, a Roman house, often had no doors between rooms. Families slept in small cubicles, separated only by curtains. Now, contrast that with Japan. In traditional Japanese homes, families slept together on tatami mats, using futons that were rolled out at night and stored during the day. Privacy came from paper screens, shoji, not walls, but the routine was peaceful, quiet, and deeply ritualized. But one thing was common across cultures: communal sleep was normal. Children slept with parents. Servants slept in corners. In Viking longhouses, everyone, family, workers, guests, slept along the walls, side by side. It wasn't until the 18th century that the idea of a private bedroom became common. First among the wealthy, then slowly spreading to the middle class. But even then, beds weren't safe. Bedbugs weren't just a phrase. They were a real nightmare. Mattresses made of straw or feathers often hosted lice, fleas, and mold. And in crowded cities, people slept in shifts, 2 families sharing one bed, each using it for 6 to 8 hours at a time. So why did it take so long to get private sleep? Simple: space and resources. Homes were small. Wood, fabric, and bedding were expensive. And staying warm was a matter of survival. Sharing body heat was practical. But here's the twist. Some historians believe that pre-modern sleep wasn't even continuous. Many people practiced 2 sleeps, going to bed around 9 p.m., waking up around 2 a.m. for an hour of quiet time, prayer, reading, talking, then sleeping again until dawn. This pattern was common in Europe until the 1800s, and it might explain why so many old texts mention the watch in the middle of the night. So, would you survive a night in the past? No pillow, no sheets, no privacy, and possibly a stranger in your bed. It makes our modern complaints about bad sleep seem a little soft. So, next time you sink into your mattress, take a moment to be grateful, because sleep, as we know it, is a very recent luxury. What part of historical sleep shocks you the most? Let me know in the comments. I read every one. And if you love deep dives into forgotten daily life, hit subscribe, because next week we're exploring how people washed clothes in the past. This is the curious past, where history isn't just kings and wars, it's about how real people lived. One strange night at a time.